I wrote this book called How to Become a Straight A Student, right? And the whole premise of the book was, I'm going to talk to actual college students who have straight A's and who don't seem completely ground out, right? Like not burnt out. And I'm just going to interview them, right? And the protocol was, how did you study for the last test did you study for? How did you take notes for the last? So I was just asking them to walk through their methodology. The core idea of that book was active recall. That was the core idea, that replicating ideas, the way I used to say is replicating the information from scratch as if teaching a class without looking at your notes. That is the only way to learn. And the thing about it was it's a trade-off. It's efficient, doesn't take much time, but it's incredibly mentally taxing, right? This is why students often avoid it. It is difficult to sit there and try to replicate and pull forth, okay, what did I read here? How did that work? It's mentally very taxing, but it's very time efficient, right? If you're willing to essentially put up with that pain, you learn very quickly. And not only do you learn very quickly, you don't forget. It's almost like you have a pseudo photographic memory when you study this way. You sit down to do a test and you're replicating like whole lines from like what you studied. The ideas sort of come out fully formed because it's such a fantastic way to actually learn.
Are you tired of spending endless hours studying or practicing only to forget everything when it matters most? What if there was a simple, proven method that could transform the way you learn forever? Imagine mastering skills faster, remembering more, and achieving your goals with confidence. Well, today, we're going to reveal the ultimate learning strategy that's been used by top performers to stay ahead of the game. Stick around, because this could be the breakthrough you've been waiting for.
You know it's all worth it just to have the price. You know that I'm all in.
In today's fast-paced world, the ability to learn quickly isn't just an advantage, it's a necessity. Whether you're preparing for an exam, learning a new skill, or diving into a passion project, efficiency is everything. That's where active recall comes in, a game-changing technique that can skyrocket your ability to retain knowledge and master anything you put your mind to. So, what is active recall? How does it work? And most importantly, how can you start using it today to dominate your learning goals? Let's break it all down. Active recall isn't your typical passive learning approach. It flips the script by challenging your brain to retrieve information instead of just reviewing it. Imagine this. Instead of rereading a chapter or highlighting key points, you pause and ask yourself, what do I remember? Can I explain this without looking? Here's why it works. When your brain struggles to recall information, it strengthens neural pathways, making the memory stronger and more durable. It's like giving your brain a workout, and the more you do it, the easier it gets. Science backs this up. Studies show that active recall not only helps you retain more, but also makes it harder to forget what you've learned. Yes, it's challenging, and yes, it's uncomfortable, but the results are incredible. Now, let's talk about results. In one story, a college student discovered active recall and completely transformed his academic performance. He went from being an average student to maintaining a near-perfect GPA for 3 years straight. His secret? Every time he studied, he replicated the material from memorial, most like teaching a class to himself. For example, when preparing for a math test, he'd grab a stack of blank paper and attempt to solve problems from scratch. If he couldn't, he'd review the material and try again later. For complex subjects like neuroanatomy, he built mental maps, visualizing circuits and pathways until everything clicked. The payoff? Complete mastery, and not just of the material, of his confidence too. Here's the thing about active recall. It's not easy, it's mentally taxing, and that's why most people avoid it. It's far simpler to highlight a few lines or reread a chapter and feel productive. But real learning doesn't happen through passive habits. Active recall is hard, but it's also the fastest, most effective way to learn. And once you push through the initial discomfort, you'll wonder why you ever studied any other way. So, how can you start using active recall today? It's simpler than you think. Follow these steps. 1. Start with the material. Begin by reading or watching the content you want to learn. 2. Take a break. Step away for a few minutes. Let your brain process what you've just absorbed. 3. Recall from memory. Without looking at your notes, write down or explain what you remember. 4. Identify weak spots. Compare your recall to the original material. 5. Repeat. Keep cycling through this process, refining your knowledge until it sticks. This approach works for everything from exams and presentations to mastering complex skills. And the best part? It's quick. No endless reviews, no wasted time. Here are a few extra tips to make active recall even more effective. Study in the morning. Tackle active recall when your mind is fresh and focused. Use spaced repetition. Revisit material over time to reinforce your learning. Track your progress. Use flashcards, notebooks, or apps to keep track of what you've mastered and what needs work. With these tools in hand, you'll be unstoppable. Here's the bottom line. Success isn't just about working hard, it's about working smart. Active recall may be tough, but it's the fastest path to mastering any skill, any subject, or any challenge you face. So, the question is, are you ready to take your learning to the next level? Start small, stay consistent, and watch as your confidence and abilities soar. The method is simple. The results are extraordinary, and the time to start is now.